How's it going out there? This is Feature Mind, and in today's video, we're going to discuss what the firmament is made of.
And so before we get started, make sure you
Subscribe.
click the like button and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the comment section after the video. And so scientists of this world call this force field a magnetic field. They say this is an area in the sky that burns up meteors before they hit the ground. And they pretty much say anything that's in orbit will burn up before it hits the Earth because of this magnetic field. And so for Earth to be an accident, wouldn't that be quite a coincidence for the Earth to happen to have such a protective barrier around the Earth for so-called meteors and debris to just happen to burn up before it hits the Earth? I mean, what's the chances of that?
And so check out my video, Meteors Are Not What You Were Told, if you want to hear more information about what meteors actually are.
Plus, there's another scientific hypothesis about a barrier above the Earth, and that has to do with what they call the Van Allen radiation belt. And they say the Van Allen radiation belt is caused by the sun that interacts with the magnetic field to create some type of barrier that complicates any type of space travel to and from alleged outer space. And so even scientifically speaking, there's evidence of some type of barrier above the Earth. And so I believe that most of us can at least get on the same page when we break it down like that. So there's definitely a barrier above the Earth. And many people say this barrier is described in the Bible as the firmament. And so the question is, what is it? And so we already discussed what the scientists think this barrier above the Earth is. But there's also evidence to suggest that the scientists also are not quite sure what this barrier is, because there was this Operation Fishbowl experiment where the military was sending off detonations into the sky to see if they could break through this barrier. And so as they were experimenting with various degrees of detonations above the Earth, these detonations seemed to be impacting on some type of barrier above the Earth that didn't seem quite that far up. In fact, there was this rocket that was said to have hit a barrier somewhere around 70 miles up. And so it's possible that this barrier might not be as high as what they say the Van Allen radiation belt is. And so whatever's above the Earth definitely appears to be unbreakable and impenetrable. So they can't seem to get through this barrier in the sky. And so if this barrier in the sky is not the Van Allen radiation belt or even a magnetic field, then what is it? Well, it could also be what appears to be water, because some of the footage of stars and projectiles that have gone up in the air have seemed to go into what looks like a puddle of water or a massive ocean above the Earth. Even the Bible says the firmament separates the waters below from the waters above. And so whatever's separating the waters above from the waters below could be a resistance, kind of like how a magnet would work. So the waters above can be repelling from the waters below to be permanently above our ocean and hovering above it. And so another hypothesis of what this firmament could be made of is that it could be actually related to some type of magnetic field. Some speculate whether this firmament is some type of electromagnetic force field type barrier, which would almost seem like a technical thing, but it could also be organic, because we see how the sun and the moon interact, kind of like a negative and positive charge. Kind of like as if the sun could be a positive charge and the moon could be a negative charge, and they could be repelling against each other and interacting with the firmament. And so it could be a possibility that this activity could be generating a magnetic force field like dome above our heads.
Some would call this an energy torus field.
It's also possible that this firmament could be solid ice, because the sun creates an area where we could be contained within solid ice.
Because the sun is warm enough to melt everything within the physical distance of its reach through its circular motions above our heads.
And with the sun going in a circle, and some even say the sun changes elevation levels, so that would create a perfect dome-like structure.
Inside of an igloo, for example.
If you had activity with the sun being able to melt a barrier
within solid ice,
that could be kind of like what we're inside of. What we do know for sure is that this firmament seems to be unbreakable, and it doesn't seem like there's a way to get through it with any type of physical equipment. And one clue about how thick this firmament is when you look at a rainbow, they're saying that a rainbow actually is evidence of this firmament. And so if we examine the thickness of the rainbow with the different bands of colors, we can see that it's possible that this firmament might be more complex than what we thought. And we can kind of see how the thickness of the firmament could be related to what we see in a rainbow. And this could give us a lot of clues about what type of barrier this firmament is over our heads.
Now, the Bible gives us clues about what the firmament might be made of in Job 37, verse 18, because it says, "Can you join him in spreading out the skies hard as a mirror of cast bronze?" And so that's the New International Version. So other versions say things like a bronze mirror. Another version says a cast metal mirror. Another translation says a mirror of bronze. The King James Version says as a molten looking glass. So we see a lot of the translations use the word mirror or glass when describing the firmament. And so these scriptures confirm that the firmament is see-through and possibly invisible. And so when it describes the firmament as glass, that explains why there's reports of planes smashing into it because they didn't see this invisible barrier. And so that reminds me of something like a bird flying into a glass window. And they also say it's as strong as cast metal, confirming that it's a very strong material, and that explains why no one has been able to smash through that glass ceiling. And so another hypothesis I would like to share with you is this physical world is possibly not what we think, as we discussed in my Are We Living in the Mind of God video. And so according to the Bible, everything was spoken into existence. And so words originate with thought. After thought is words, and words are vibrational. And so I theorize that all physical matter is some type of vibrational energy condensed into physical matter, because even Einstein theorized that matter times the speed of light squared equals energy. And so the less dense the energy would be, the less dense of the matter. And so liquids like water would be the less dense energy, because you could still push through water in liquids. And the more dense energy would be the solid material like metal or the firmament, for example. And so I would theorize that the firmament would be the complete opposite of water, where the firmament would be the most concentrated form of energy and probably made of an element that nobody has ever heard of before, because the vibrational energy would be more concentrated energy. Even Marvel seems to grasp this type of concept because they have a rare element that they made Captain America's shield out of called vibranium. So vibranium has the word vibration hidden in it. And so this would be the most intense vibrational energy ever. That is pretty much indestructible. Another way to look at this would be kind of like how when you dream, you can interact with physical objects, and you might be able to dissect the objects and understand the properties of the object, but does that mean that the object is actually there? And so I theorize that this physical world that we live in could be somewhat similar, where the physical objects we are interacting with could be similar to like if we are living in the mind of God. And so physical objects aren't necessarily what we think they are, because everything would be part of this dream realm of God that everything dwells in. And so you could still have all the laws and properties of these physical elements, but everything could be made of this dream matter. And so the firmament could be made of the most dense matter and made of an element that nobody has ever been aware of. And at the same time, matter could still be a spiritual concept that we actually have just begun to understand, because even scientists are beginning to recognize this in what they call quantum physics. And there's also other various studies that they are beginning to understand that confirm this as well. And so a final hypothesis I would like to share with you is the firmament could be the end of the road, like a place where nothing is after it, as far as this physical realm is concerned. So the earth realm would be entirely this one thing that is under the firmament. And that's why you can't get through it, because it could just be the end, where this could be all that there is when it comes to this physical realm of existence. Everything could be contained all within this one realm or within this one firmament. That doesn't mean there can't be other dimensions or anything, but there might not be anything after a certain limit. And that's why nothing can break through it. Kind of like that phrase, the sky's the limit. There is nothing after that. It'd be kind of like if this was a simulation or video game where you get to the end of a particular scene in the game and you can't walk any further because there's nothing after that. And so we discussed several theories in this video. Let me know which one you like the best, or if you have any other theories you would like to share with us.
And so for much more information, check out my Proof of the Dome Firmament playlist. I'll leave the link in the comment section and the description box.
Visit feedyourmind1.com and share the page with your friends and family for bonus videos, news, exclusives, links to my other channels, social media links, and much more. Gain access to secret videos, early releases, and sneak peeks at patreon.com/feedyourmind. All links are in the comment section and the description box. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and click your notification bell. This has been another episode of Feed Your Mind. Thank you for tuning in. Signing off.